Are you ready? It's that show. It's that show you've heard about. It's that show you tell your friends about. It's that show you don't want to miss. We keep it real, we keep it raw, we don't hold back. It's Girl Talk.
So, as usual, I always have like several questions. One of them is funny because it sort of mirrors what you were talking about with your friend, and even self care. But I'm not gonna go that route because it was about relationships. It was about finding when people show up and appear to be authentic, and then you thinking you make this connection, and then when you reach out, they're a totally different person. Yeah. So, but I'm not gonna do that one. I'm gonna do. What's the most valuable lesson you've learned, and how did you learn it?
Oh. Oh, yeah, we age. And he's 45 years old.
I will tell you.
Go ahead.
Because I've had a few moments of never going against what feels good to your spirit and your soul. So whatever feels good to you and what you feel like you should be doing, not letting outside noise contradict that or steer you out of what you know to be true. Like being true to yourself. Because I feel like I've done that. I did that a lot in my life, like letting other people not so much care about what they think, but letting them sway
you from moving
what I knew I wanted to do. And I always tell my kids that too, like, do what feels good to your spirit and your soul.
Yes. Yeah.
I have to say the
Wait,
most...
let me just ask you, and how did you learn that? You learned that from
host page.
She asked the follow-up.
I don't know if it's
Don't do page.
one like particular thing that has happened, but I just always know, like, if I kind of be set on something and then I voice it and like get other people's opinions and that noise, and then I end up swaying, doing something, and then it always comes back to bite me in the ass. Like, I should have just, even intuition, like, go with what I knew to be true and what I wanted to do, and this wouldn't have been the outcome.
So have you ever so in that vein, have you ever got to a point where there's something you wanted to do and you didn't share it, so that you didn't get those other voices?
Yeah, that's where I'm at now.
Okay.
I don't too much say. Even
you
like
just,
with
you
me,
just move.
I just move, because even like with the Costa Ricans, remember I was saying, even telling you, people's like, put it on social media and try to raise money for it. And I was like, no, I don't want to do that because it's too much noise, because I don't want everybody's opinion. And why? Because I get a lot, I do too much. People out here, I've been hearing that my whole life, you be doing too much, you do too much, you do too much. And my response is like, do I do too much or y'all don't do enough? But anyway, because I believe that we here to learn, experience, and grow. So I don't never feel like
it's your journey.
It's my journey. So I didn't want to post about it, and I typically don't post things before I do things for that reason, because I don't want all the opinions and the comments and, oh, you shouldn't be doing that or don't do that.
Negativity.
I told somebody about the Costa Rica trip and that I got accepted into this program, and the response that I got was, you do too much. Just sit still, just sit down. And it's like, and if I would have like internalized that, like, oh, maybe I do be doing too much, maybe I shouldn't, I probably wouldn't have went. Then I was like, okay, but that's your opinion. So like, not letting that outside noise. So I'm very particular about who I share things with now. And now I just go do stuff, and I come back and tell you about how I did it.
Exactly.
Even with my solo self-care trips, because I think that's when we met. I think I was just going on my first one. And I was like, no, I'm going on a trip by myself. And everybody, don't do that. That's not safe. You shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be traveling by yourself. And I was just like,
Man, I drove from Wisconsin to Florida by myself.
Yeah.
That was 20-some
and now I'm
trip.
so happy that I did it, because now I know that I can do it. I just went to Costa Rica by myself for 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's a long time too.
Yeah,
that is a long
I mean, I was like on a retreat, but still, just the fact that I did it. But had I let everyone else's, opinions about what I should and shouldn't be doing sway me, so that's where I'm at. Like, I don't even really want to.
And your answer is very connected to my answer. The biggest lesson I learned and how I learned it. So how I learned it was when my mom developed dementia, and So when people develop dementia, there's a stage they go through where they don't know what secrets are no more, and they don't know what not to tell you. So they tell you everything because they just talking. They want to talk, right? And so, I knew that my mom had different dreams and desires. She wanted to be a cosmetologist and all that other kind of stuff. And a few other things, but I don't want to go into too deep of details. But there were a lot of things that she wanted to do in life that she never, ever got a chance to do because she was listening to other people. She was listening to other people. Now, my mom always had an issue with me growing up. That Leo in me, because we don't listen to nobody. Yeah. We just do what we feel like doing. So, and I've always been that way. I moved out. And then I left the state, and I've lived in a few different states. I just do whatever the heck I feel. That's just that Leo. Ain't nothing I can do about that. It really is what it is. But the biggest lesson I ever learned was to follow that. Yeah. Because society and other people will project their fears, and things that they don't think that they deserve or they can't excel at. They will project all of that on you, and then you wind up living a life that somebody else wants you to live, but you miserable. My mom was miserable, and she was shocked. That was her escape. Some people eat. Yeah, she did eat too, but she's shocked. Yeah. Like so she's in a nursing home now. She's got advanced dementia. I have cleaned out that house 3 times, and she still got clothes in that house. When one of my girls was part of the domestic violence, she's a domestic violence advocate. I gave so many clothes with tags on it because she did get them. Her and my dad, she got them into a little credit issue because she was charging all of that stuff, and so she was, how on the movies or whatever you see where they shop and then they hide it and they bring it in. That was real life in my house. And so mom would shop so much and hide the clothes with the tags on it until she forgot she had even hid the clothes with the tags on. So she was just out shopping again for some stuff. It was so many clothes with tags on it. Like so many. Not like 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 or a dozen. Yeah, like just lots of stuff because she had a wardrobe for every season. Every time the seasons changed, she would take her whatever season clothes upstairs and bring her other season clothes downstairs. And she was still shocked even after she had all of that. But that was her therapy. Yeah. Because, at that, my mom is 87. They wasn't going to therapy back then. That wasn't what they was going to do. If they didn't pray about it, then it was just going to be whatever it was, And so the biggest lesson I learned was just as my mom's dementia progressed and she shared more of her truths, that she would have never told me that stuff under normal circumstances. No, she wouldn't. But as she shared more of her truths, it just really reinforced the way that I have lived my life on my own terms. So if I fuck up, I fucked up. But I did it the way I wanted to do it, so now I can't blame nobody else for it. I just have to, okay, I fucked up. So I got to do something different next time. But you can feel a self of fulfillment. And to me, I feel like life is about being happy and fulfilled. Because inside of us all burns some passion for something. And that is where you are supposed to go. That's that image that your spirit is telling you, this is what we down here for. Right. So let's accomplish this. If it's something that's always in the back of your mind nagging at you, we need to do this, we need to do this, we need to do this. You really need to do that. Yeah. I mean, unless it's till you kill somebody, then we don't want to listen to that. We don't listen to nothing that's going to get us in jail. But that's the biggest lesson I learned, was to really follow my passion, what made me happy and what made me feel fulfilled. And the way I learned it was with my mom.
That's good. Oh, they would all. No, I would have to say it's kind of aligned with what you all been saying, but mine is actually more recent. Hence, the short blonde hair. I've never been platinum. Never been. Thank you. Never been platinum blonde. Before. But I cut my hair in September, but it was a few months coming. But what I
wasn't it August, because you was short when you came to my party.
Was it? It was
Yeah.
August. You're right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It was. Oh, you're right. It was.
Because I didn't even know that was
August.
you.
Yes, it was. Because I told her I wanted it before I started back school, and that was the end of August. You're right. So in August, but I was thinking about it for a few months before then. But all that had to do with me just showing up 100% authentically me. And once again, getting back to my big personality, people just automatically assume that I'm just this, confident, person. But I had developed for years some insecurities because I allowed other people develop insecurities in me because I was such a bright light, a big personality. I would often hear, "You doing too much. You doing too much. You over the top. You just like, huh." And so then I would suppress who I really was. And then, but as I told you all when I started therapy, I got more into my daily devotion, whether it was meditation, whether it was worshiping, whether it was my prayer journal, whether it was reading the Bible, whatever it was, and I started connecting. And just what you just said, Xavier, that's what came to me. It was who your purpose that you are here to fulfill is dependent on you showing up who you are in the personality I gave you. So as long as you are suppressing that, then you will never walk in what you truly are supposed to be. And so I had called my spiritual advisor, and I was speaking to her, and I said, I really think I just really feeling this cutting my hair, but it's a little bit hesitation. And she said, cut it. She said, because it's so much of that hair that's tied to so much of who you are no longer.
Yeah. Wow.
So she said, cut it. And I got one beautician I ever let, and I had, some natural, but I've been short before. I grew my hair out starting in end of 2020 when I was getting ready to get married. So it was nothing with being short, but it grew out a lot. But I had never been platinum blonde at all. And for years, this is kind of what I wanted. And when I got one lady I let cut my hair and color it. Like this, one woman I trusted, and she's a full-time instructor at MATC in the cosmetology program. But I called her, and I went in, and when I tell you all, I took the pictures. When she cut it, I didn't feel not one time and it was so much hair. You all know how much hair I had, but so it was me. So to answer your question, Paige, it was now finally where I can be me. And guess what? That's your issue. If you got a problem with me and I'm this and I'm that, that's your issue.
Right.
It's not me.
Yep. They're trying to drag you down to where their perception of themselves is.
A lot of people project.
Yes. They definitely project.
They do.
They definitely project. Did you tell us what you learned?
Oh, well, what I learned is, it's so funny because listening to each one of you, there's a little bit of what, really I've learned is that, X talks about her mom, and I look at my mom and a situation that she was in, and being married, and my stepfather passing away, and there was a period when she would be telling different stories about what she was unhappy about, right? I'm gonna speed it up. Telling different stories about what she was unhappy about. And one day I just said to her, I said, you gotta take some ownership in that as well, right? Why did you stay?
Yeah.
She said, blah, blah, blah. I said, okay, well, you chose why you stayed.
Yeah.
Own that and move on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because what happened is you're reliving, literally, I could repeat, certain things she's about to say. I'm like, Lord, here we go.
Right.
But, and so it got to a point, and I said, I really think maybe our parents of that age didn't really go talk to somebody, but I'm like, I really think you need to talk to somebody, because you have to take accountability for your part in
your
it,
own
That's
self.
right?
That's
The,
right.
every day we wake up, we're able to write a different chapter in our life, and we are the authors of our life. This is our journey, and so we have to be accountable for whatever we do. And so I have gone through some stuff, and I didn't share it with people. And I remember somebody was like, "Why wouldn't you tell?" I said, "Because I don't want their fears to take hold of what it is I want to do." Because what happens is sometimes people are fearful of what you're doing, not because they don't love you, but they're fearful because they didn't do it, right? And so I was just like, no, I'm gonna do it, and I'll tell them about it later. And so that's so.
And I do a lot of stuff like that. I go ahead and do stuff, and then I call them from a different state. You know, because people will definitely, and not that they are wrong about what they're saying as far as, you know, the decisions that you make, but if that is where you're led, there's a reason that you're doing it. It could be for the lesson that you need to get there.
Right.
You know, you never know why you are motivated to make that move. That's putting you